Everyone, and welcome to the Knights of the Fallen Empire stream. I know a lot of you are going to have a whole lot of questions about what we're going to be showing today, what we're going to be talking about today, and the answer is a whole lot of stuff, like a whole lot of stuff. So let me start off with some of the basics. For those of you who are tuning in who don't know what we're talking about, if you're just tuning in. So we're going to be talking about Star Wars The Old Republic, Knights of the Fallen Empire. It's our new expansion coming out on October 27th, as you can see right here below me. So for those that don't know, our expansion is free to all subscribers, so definitely never been a better time to subscribe than you can get this expansion for free. We also have, ending today, you have to be a sub by today, Nico Okar's Duster, which is pretty awesome, and then next month will be the awesome Speeder. So you can check all that stuff out at the link, which is up here, just StarWarsTheOldRepublic.com/Fallen Empire. Okay, so for those that didn't tune in, at TwitchCon, one of the things that we did is we were joined by a whole bunch of different streamers. We were on the Amazon Games booth, and we streamed a lot of Chapter 1. So I'm going to be doing a bit of that today, just in case someone missed it, but I'm going to be doing it a little bit differently than we did at TwitchCon. So, for those of you who have been around for a little bit, I know one of the things that you guys have been looking for is a lot more information on Fallen Empire. So, I've been talking quite a bit the past few days on the forums and on Reddit and stuff about how this stream is really about showing you guys a lot of information. So what I'm going to show you in a second is I have literally my schedule next to me of what we're going to do over the next 2 hours. And when I hold up this piece of paper, which is 3 pages, everything that's highlighted in yellow you have likely never seen before, or you've definitely never seen before and likely never even heard about. So page 1, you can see all the yellow, which is breaking because of the green screen. Page 2 and page 3. So there's a ton of stuff that we're going to be talking about today, going over lots of Fallen Empire information. I'm going to be grabbing a lot of questions from the chat as well throughout, because I know you guys will be looking for clarification on a couple of different points. Please let me know if at any point the mic and the audio balance is off. I know we've had some tech issues in the past. I think we have all that stuff resolved, so we shouldn't run into any issues. For anyone that's asking, by the way, this is not a poster. I'm inside of a green screen right now, and this thing over to this side is what you're going to see when we get closer to the game. I believe that'll be our loading screen. So let me jump into the game. So where we're going to be starting today is we're going to be starting with creating a brand new level 60 character. So we've talked quite a bit about starting at level 60. I know we showed it quite a bit over the past weekend at TwitchCon. I'm going to do basically the same playthrough that we did at TwitchCon, which is I'm going to make a level 60 character, and I'm going to play through Chapter 1 up to a bigger point. So if you want to avoid spoilers, as soon as I get through creating a brand new level 60 character is when you're going to want to stop tuning into the stream for about 30 to 45 minutes, all right? Now, just to clarify some things, what's going to be a bit different about the stream that we're doing today compared to the stream that we did during TwitchCon is I'm going to go into some of the nitty-gritty details. I know that really what you guys were looking for, especially those of you guys who are probably watching this stream, some of our more active players, is to really show you some of the detailed stuff of what's inside of some of these systems. So that's really what we're going to be talking about quite a bit today. So the game audio should be on now. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I think it's going to be pretty loud. So let me know if for some reason the game audio is too high, and I'll turn that back down. So let's jump in and make a character. I think for the sake of me, I think I'm going to go with a bounty hunter today. Hopefully that works for everybody as well. So let's see. I'm going to go Merc. So anyway, so let's jump in and start at level 60. So what starting at level 60 allows you to do is you can skip right into the story of being the Outlander. There's a shot. You can jump right into that story, kind of going past what's happened from level 1 through 60, if you want to do so. Of course, if you have an existing level 60 character and you want to take that into Fallen Empire, you certainly can do that as well. In fact, a little bit later on, I'm going to show you a different high-level character, and I'm going to show you how you get into the chapters from that point. As you can see, you have... Actually, let me backtrack up a step, just so I can do a full walkthrough. So, also, new character select screen, or character creation screen. This is pretty awesome, right? So you can choose Empire, Republic, of course. You're allowed to pick either faction, whichever one you want to go on to. So again, I'm going to pick Empire for this. So you'll be able to see as you jump in, again, you have all 8 classes, and inside of, all 4 classes and their 8 advanced classes. And then inside of each advanced class, what's going to happen is we're going to give you a default discipline. I'll talk about that in a second. So what you can do is inside of the start at 60, you can actually toggle through these things: equipment, abilities, their combat role, and their story. Kind of get an idea of what this class is if you're not familiar with it. So it has all that information for you there. If you're you're an experienced player, you know all the advanced classes, you know all the disciplines, you know the difference between an innovative ordnance and an arsenal mercenary, and you really kind of want to jump in and play something specifically how you want to play. What you can do is there's an advanced option in the bottom right corner. So when you go into the advanced options, it's going to be very clear to you. You've already been assigned the recommended discipline. And what the recommended disciplines are, for one, they're always DPS. And two, it tends to be one of the disciplines that are just a bit easier to play. So something with a little simpler rotation, that type of thing. So the standard mercenary discipline, for example, is Arsenal. But let's say, you know that you want to play Innovative Ordnance, or you know that you want to play Bodyguard. You can switch to these options. As a start at 60, you can play any discipline across any of the advanced classes that you want. Totally up to you. I'm going to go with Arsenal just because it's what I want to play. So it'll jump into that. Again, you have all of the species options. Any of the species that you've unlocked through the rest of the game will, of course, be captured here. I'm going to pick a human just for fun. I'm going to play a male, and just to make it extra fun, I'm going to show everybody that I'm basically the most default human being there is, because I'm kind of just ones in every column. I'll give myself a little bit of tan, and let's give myself, there we go. I'll pretend that I have a little bit of spiky hair, and boom, just like that, it's me. Just like that. So we'll randomly generate the name. And now as soon as you hit play, what it's going to do when you create a new Start at 60 character is it is going to jump you directly into Chapter 1. It's going to skip right past the fleet, right past any of that, and jump straight in. So what it's going to do now when you hit play, as a setup for what's going to happen in Knights of the Fallen Empire, it's going to jump into our Sacrifice trailer. And because I love it, and it's awesome, I'm going to let it play through instead of skipping it because it's a fantastic trailer. So I'll be back in 4 to 5 minutes when the trailer's completed, alright? So I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
A man can have anything if he is willing to sacrifice. With your birth comes a solemn vow. You will have nothing. Your privilege is the dirt. In the darkness, only ambition will guide you. The oaths you swear, the promises you make, they are yours alone. Your freedom will be the wars you wage. Your birthright, the losses you suffer. darkness finds you, you will face it alone. Come with me, son.
All right. So, I know some of you were like, please no, not again. I've probably seen that trailer 100 times, and I will happily watch it 100 more. So, I'm just being selfish because I just want to watch the trailer. So 2 of the questions that I saw pop up a few times while we were going through, and I'll talk over the Star Wars music, but you guys can certainly read the crawl, is no, I was not the model for the trailer. I just happen to be a dude who has crew cut hair. Otherwise, I really don't look that much like the guy. Questions about the character limits. So some people answered this in chat. If you are already at the 22 character limit, every time that you get a start at 60 character, so that includes the free one that you're going to get when Fallen Empire launches, we'll add another character slot for you. And I'm trying to go from memory on here, and Tate or Nick can correct me in chat. I believe that it will be up to a new cap of 40 or 50 on a server. So the cap is going to increase in that regard, and then you'll get it every time you buy and you start at 60. So that will happen. That will happen there. So a couple of other questions or a couple of things that I want to reiterate to people. So again, we're going to be playing through Chapter 1, most of it. So if you want to avoid spoilers, you're going to want to come back in like 30 to 45 minutes. For those asking, nope, this is absolutely not all that we're going to show. Once I get past Chapter 1, I'm going to be going back to the fleet on both a high and low level character and showing you guys all kinds of stuff. So don't worry. Yes, if you don't want to start at 60s, you can still just get more character slots as part of it. I'm seeing a couple of you guys ask a couple questions about like some other things related to the rest of the game, like the other previous planets and stuff. Don't worry, we'll show you all that stuff later in the stream.
I already know.
Also, as soon as we get out of this these cutscenes, I will turn on subtitles for anyone that has seen it. Musco, what's your main? Most of the time I play Arsenal Merc. Most of the time. We just strike. I wish Group Finder would improve. We actually have a whole bunch of improvements to Group Finder and how some of that stuff works, which I'll be showing you guys later today.
I'll be back in a minute. See if you can't bump.
Musco, will the boosted 60s gear be available as orange shells for non-boosted characters? Give me 3 minutes till I get out of this conversation, and I will actually be talking about that very thing. You're going to see me look down at my notes a lot also. I'll tell you about that in a second. I don't want to talk over chat or talk over the dialogue.
Darth Maul awaits you on the bridge. I trust you remember the way.
Has Mar really found the Sith Emperor all the way out here?
I wouldn't presume to speak for Lord Mar, but I've never known him to exaggerate. Welcome aboard.
Okay. So, let me, so I'm the weird person who plays inverted mouse, so let me fix that real quick. Okay, and let me turn on subtitles. Okay, so those two are on. So let me cover a couple things. So for one, I know that when we were doing this at TwitchCon, I saw a lot of people yelling like, "Press C! Just press C!" So I'm going to press C. So now you guys can see the gear that is here. So you will notice right away, because I saw a whole lot of people asking the question about this gear and how else you might be able to get this gear. So you will notice that all of the gear that is here is bound to Legacy, except for the relics. I guess just except for the relics. Some of the implants were not bound to Legacy, but they are. So all of this stuff is all bound to Legacy. So if you had made this character and you wanted disappearance elsewhere, you certainly can get this as well. So you'll be able to get that across other characters. And I saw some questions about things like item level. As you can see, there's a 188. If that means anything to you, if it doesn't, don't worry about it. Basically, what it means is that when you get into Chapter 1 on a new character, we're going to make sure that you can get right into that character. So while I'm on this screen, let me talk about a couple of other things that have changed as part of our combat changes. And I know I talked about this before. So one of the things that I want to add is that pretty much everything I'm going to talk about today, barring some of the minor quality of life stuff we've done, which actually we've done quite a bit. A lot of the big changes, like for example, the combat changes that I'm about to talk about, and some of the other stuff, we're going to be releasing blogs this week and next week that are going to be breaking these down in even more detail. So if you have unanswered questions about some of this stuff, I'll talk about it. It'll all be talked about in a blog as well. So the first thing that I see many of you have noticed is that this top stat is now Mastery. So what we've done is we've taken all of the primary stats, willpower, cunning, etc., and they are all now one stat, which is Mastery. The reason we did this is quite simple, which is we want to make sure that when gear drops, if you want to use it, you can use it. Because now it doesn't matter if it was, if it was willpower gear or cunning gear, and you were an agent, you could have worn what used to be willpower gear because it's all Mastery. So all of that has kind of just been put together. The other big one to point out is crit. So crit is now all one stat, critical rating. So critical and surge are now the same stat. I'm not going to go into detail on how it works, only because that's getting real granular. But again, we'll be releasing a blog talking all about the combat changes that are coming and some of the changes to stats and stuff. So the main things that I wanted to point out, though, is that all main stats are now Mastery, and that crit and surge have kind of been put together to simplify that set a little bit. That's pretty much it for the character sheet. I'll come back to this when I get Darth Mar, because I know a lot of people wanted to see that as well. So one of the things I want to point out about Chapter 1 as I'm moving is you're going to notice that I only have 3 abilities on my bar. And the reason that is because Chapter 1 is very much intended to be for as a new player experience, which is if you haven't played TOR before or you're just coming back to it, this will allow you to just jump into the game and experience it, to go through it without being inundated with all the stuff that's there. Now, I'm an experienced player. I've played the game once or 1,000 times before. So I'm going to hit this X over here, which means I'm going to turn it off. So I'm going to turn it off. So now you'll see or it didn't turn off. So what'll happen is the rest of my abilities will... I'll tell you what, why don't I play through the tutorial form? This way you can see what'll happen as the abilities pop in throughout.
I got your message. Have you really found him?
I can sense him even now. We grow closer every moment. Our former Emperor is out there.
Do we know what could have brought him to this area? My ship's charts don't have much.
There are rumors of many civilizations in this region, but our only outposts nearby were destroyed without explanation some time ago. The culprits were never determined. Why travel so far? Why consume every living thing on Zyos, then turn and flee into the depths of wild space?
He definitely didn't sound afraid the last time we spoke. Could this all just be a game to him?
We'll soon find out. If we do locate him, I believe I can press the Dark Council into line. But I'm beginning to doubt the Republic will make any serious contributions.
What's Sorry, Tate was relaying a message to me, but he was doing it in some crazy language. I'll carry on. I see some people asking about seeing the disciplines and utilities. I'll show you that UI in a second as soon as we get out of here. And I'm seeing people saying audio, so I'll make sure that the audio is up a little bit.
There are at least a few people in the Republic who can be reasoned with. I could contact Theron Shan.
He is a spy, but if we have no other means...
My lord, sensor contact, 15 clicks, small, no life form readings, some kind of probe.
Readings are identical to scans from the unknown force that attacked Korriban.
Raise shields! Pursue and destroy!
Why would someone send a probe out this far? Some kind of survey?
We can find out from the wreckage. Evasive maneuvers. Come about 180 degrees.
Report hostile forces.
I'll sweep for borders. You get us out of here.
Set deflectors to double aft. Divert weapon power to the engines.
Okay, so the combat window, so you guys can see. So again, our level cap is increasing by 5 in Fallen Empire. So that's why you'll see that this is extending out to another passive plus one more utility point, plus another utility has been added into the final tier, into the heroic tier. So what you'll notice is that none of my utility points are spent. The reason none of my utility points are spent is because I went into the advanced settings when I was in character creation. If I hadn't gone into advanced settings and I had just gone through, your utilities would already be pre-spent for you. So I'm just going to literally just click some stuff so it stops flashing, because I know you guys are loving the flash that's going on. So I'm going to skip past that for you as well. And I'm going to also close out of this guy as well, because I don't need that. So some of the questions that I saw while I'm running around, am I going to show the new abilities? So right now, I do not have it on my list of things to show for new abilities. If we have time at the end of the stream, I will show them. But otherwise, right now the plan is no. But we are going to work on getting those online at some point, so that you guys can see what they look like. But no, right now the plan is I'm not going to show them on the stream unless we have time. And I saw someone bring up that I actually have my cylinder on. or a stance, so people aren't having to drink for that. For those that don't know, there was a drinking game that was being invented based on the stream. So, what you need to complete before Fallen Empire. So, no, you do not need to complete all of Shadow of Revan, all of Rise of the Hutt Cartel, all of your class story. You do not need to complete those to get into Fallen Empire. You can just go straight into Fallen Empire. However, it is worth noting that if you have not completed those by the time you hit start Fallen Empire, you will not be able to go back and complete them. So it is worth noting that if you want to complete those things, and what I'm talking specifically about is the primary storylines, so your class story, and the main storylines of Rise of the Hutt Cartel and Shadow of Revan. If you want to complete those, you will want to do so before you start Fallen Empire, because you will not be able to go back and do them once you started it. Also, if you want me to play the drinking game, would love. Someone had also asked about how much a start at level 60 character will cost. I don't have an answer for that right now. That stuff is still being nailed down, so I don't have an answer for that yet. But you will be able to buy additional start at level 60s besides just the one that comes for free with Fallen Empire for subscribers. Clearly we can't do anything for it. We just can't.
Cut the droids off here. I'm sorry.
Hyperspace stance should be default on the stance you choose. Better for new players.
Get to the bridge.
Yeah, it will be. So again, all of that stuff will be pre-done for you if you jump in as a new level 60 character without going through advanced settings. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Oh, we got death from above now, so let's use that. Oh, I don't think I took the utility to have blazing bolts while I'm moving. That seems like a problem. All right. And I'll continue to try to grab questions when I'm not betting things. Will the free character have all the datacrons? That's a good question, actually. I can check that in a second, but I suspect the answer is most definitely. But I will talk about that in a second. That's a good question. Moving on along. Oh, there's one other thing I need to point out too. I'll do that in a second.
Are you there? We need a hand. Droids blew out the airlock.
Tevia23 is asking how. I'm just wondering, how do you carry over your character to the Fallen Emperor storylines? I will show you that later in the stream. I'm going to show you a higher level character on the fleet, which would kind of be the equivalent of if you had a character that you had, for example, at level 60 already that you were just going to jump into the storyline with. So I will show you how that works in a little bit. I just use some moving fire. Do the blast with it. And for anyone just tuning in, I'm playing. Oh, you can see it, I guess, all around the screen. I'm playing Star Wars: The Old Republic: Knights of the Fallen Empire, and I'm currently in Chapter 1 of the story, as you can see up here, called The Hunt. If you don't know, we're going to be releasing our story episodically via chapters throughout the year. So when Fallen Empire launches on October 27th, there'll be 9 chapters. And then to make the same joke that I made all weekend at TwitchCon, there's a movie or something coming out over the holidays. That one's for you, all of you playing the drinking game. And then we'll be back after the holidays, and we'll start releasing the chapters monthly. Brandon asks, are you going to be playing the whole thing? I am not going to play all of Chapter 1. Again, there will be spoilers if you are watching, but I'm only going to play up until the same point we played at TwitchCon. So if you watch what we did at TwitchCon, you're going to see me getting to the same point here.
If you see an opening to escape, take it. Someone has to make it back to civilization.
When does early access start? Early access starts on October 20th, if you've qualified for early access. If not, Fallen Empire launches on October 27th.
I mean it.
The enemy has reached the engineering deck. They're after the primary generator. I'm on my way now. Meet me there.
All right. So, one of the things I wanted to point out, now that I've got a moment, you'll notice that I have a scavenging space right now here on the ship. So, you can see that as a start at 60 character, let me move this so it's not my face isn't blocking it. So, as a new start at 60 character, we're going to give you crew skills that are appropriate for the class that you're playing. So as a merc, I have armor, mech, scavenging, and underworld trading, so that I can make all the beautiful armor and stuff. I'm going to talk a lot more about crafting a little bit later in the stream, so just hang tight, and I'll come back and I'll talk about this, because there's been a whole bunch of changes made to crafting and crew skills and gathering, and all that stuff. I'll talk about all of that a little bit later in the stream. But just I wanted to highlight that if you do a start at 60 character, you will also get appropriate max level crew skills for your class. Musco, is there more game performance options coming in 4.0 like 3.22? Hang on, I actually have a bunch of stuff to talk about with game performance improvements. I know a lot of them came in 3.22. One of them may be only in 4.0. I'll talk about those later, though. Will you talk about companion abilities? Yes, I will, in about 45 seconds.
The bridge is secure for now, but without main power will be destroyed in seconds.
Let's not waste any time, then.
Okay, so I have Darth Mar as a companion. So I know one of the things that people wanted to see was the characters, the companion screen for Darth Mar. So let me talk a little bit about the companion screen in general. So you can still customize the appearance of most companions. So, for example, I'm a bounty hunter, so I'll actually show you Mako later in the stream, and I'll show you how you can still customize her appearance. Obviously, there's nothing here for Darth Mar because you can't actually customize appearance. Sorry, folks, I can't take off his mask, so you can't see that. There's no mask coming off. You do still control his weapon, so you can still customize what that looks like, and that'll dictate their abilities. You can see that they have all of their stats and whatnot over here as well, which those are their stats are dictated by your level, and your influence with the companion also affects that as well. So companions in general will get stronger the better the relationship you have with them. So that's that's Darth Mar's sheep. Let me show you. So one of the new things that we've introduced in Fallen Empire is the ability to change a companion's role. So Darth Mar, as you can see, he's a healer. So right now he has 5 abilities, very similar to the way companions worked before. You can right-click on them and you can toggle on and off the automatic skills that they have. At any time, you can right-click on a companion and you can just change their role. So if you would rather have Darth Mar, like let's say you're a healer and you wanted Darth Mar to be a tank or you wanted him to be damage, you could do that right from there. I actually would love Darth Mar to help me out with some healing. So I can just work on killing things. So I'm going to keep Mar that way. One of the things that was pointed out for me, someone made a point to point out, and this is only for those of you who will know what I'm about to talk about. There was the gear that was farmed, that many of you had farmed from Yavin, the companion gear. So what I was told is that that gear, since again it's not entirely useful for the companions because their stats aren't dictated by gear anymore, is that gear, except for the weapon, no longer requires companions and is legacy. So if you have that gear, you'll have that gear to transfer to characters for appearances and that type of stuff. And if I'm lying, kill my boss. I'll actually tell you a funny story about my boss later too, because he changed. He was messing with me with my legacy. Look at these guys. These guys, we've pointed this out on stream a couple times, but these guys are just hiding over here, and I was just not. You know, guys are just hiding over here, not getting attacked. Sorry, I'm trying to grab the best I can. I know that in a lot of cases, many of you will have seen quite a bit of this from TwitchCon, so I'm expecting majority of the questions to come when I get past this and I start showing you guys some other stuff, some new things. Let's go take down some boss action. I know I just clicked like for that, but it's good for that. Oh no. The Darth Mar is we'll be able to keep our gear we have on for us and companions look-wise. So yes, so you will still be able to, you'll be able to dictate the appearance of your companions when Fallen Empire launches and the gear kind of figure stuff kind of go away. Any of that stuff that was affected will get mailed to you, so you don't lose any of it. And then of course, like I said, you can still dictate what the appearance of your companions looks like. It's just you don't need to worry about hearing them anymore. That's just all right. So let's make some decisions.
The power core's on its last legs. We can juice the shields back up, but they won't hold for long.
The hyperdrive has been completely burnt out.
Enemies on the bridge. Repeat, enemies on the...
There are rudimentary backup controls here, but the enemy ships have us surrounded.
Ventoro, can you change the roles of companions while in combat? No, you cannot. Also, I'm just taking dark side the whole way.
We can.
Agreed.
So fabulous. Fabulous. Will we be able to obtain our companion's original gear again? As a popular example, Lord Scourge. So I've talked to the team about it. That was a very good suggestion that was brought up as well when we first started talking about the changes to gearing. Not at the launch of Fallen Empire, you won't be able to, but it is definitely something that the team is aware of and would love to put in. Why would you use a naval formation that, when one ship explodes, would take out 5 other ships? Poor decision making is the answer to that question. Please turn must go up or game down. I'll turn game down a little bit.
You've awakened. I trust you can walk.
What is this place?
My flagship. You've arrived at the heart of our empire.
For those asking about legacy datacrons, give me about 15 minutes and I will answer that question for you. We'll start talking about that stuff when I jump into a lower level character.
What empire have we entered?
The Eternal Empire. Zakul. You didn't even know whose territory you were invading.
Alright, I'm seeing a couple people say the game audio is too low, so I'm going to turn it up a bit and just talk less during cutscenes, because I think that's the problem.
We didn't invade anything. We were looking for someone.
In an armed warship.
We weren't looking for a friend.
What do you hope to achieve by taking us prisoner?
I have questions. You will provide the answers.
We will tell you nothing.
You won't have to speak to give me the answers I need.
Prince Ark and final docking sequence initiated.
We recovered the records from your ship's computers, or what was left of them. Fascinating reading. You're nothing but a hired gun, yet truly powerful individuals turn to you above all others. You've influenced
someone asked if I can go over all the stuff I'm going to be talking about on the stream. In a few seconds, I'll have some time while I'm walking, and I'll go over that stuff.
If you're looking to have some work done, name your price. Otherwise, save your breath.
I don't think you'll be getting paid for this excursion.
Prince Arkan?
Heskel. Still waiting for the catastrophe that you and your scions foretold.
You may close your ears to the whispers of fate, my prince, but they cannot be silenced.
I wonder if silencing you might suffice. Take your superstitions elsewhere, Haskell. You are not needed here.
Your followers don't seem to be as sure of your invincibility as you are.
Unimportant relics with unfounded beliefs. Don't be swayed by their nonsense.
Is this why you brought us? To hear you bicker with soothsayers?
Come along.
You're taking us to your master.
I'm taking you to my father, Valkorion, the immortal Emperor of Zakul.
An emperor. Just what we were searching for.
You will not find what you wanted here.
Okay, so now I gotta be walked into to meet Arkan's father. While I'm doing that, let me recap for you guys quickly what I'm going to be talking about in a few minutes when we get done with this stuff. So after this, I'm going to be talking about something special we're doing for people that have completed class stories. We're going to go over the changes to the user interface editor and some of the customization we've added there. I'm going to talk about some changes we've made to abilities. There's some very cool stuff that we've done there that I'm excited about. I'm going to talk about crafting, all the changes that are coming to crafting. changes to Group Finder, some of the stuff to your inventory and things like commendations and some itemization stuff, some quality of life guild things, a whole bunch of stuff we've done in Legacy. I'm going to highlight a bunch of changes we've made to collections. I'm going to show what the changes look like on the original world, so from level 1 to 50, and what that looks like. I know a lot of people have been like 12x, Epic Story XP boost, like how does that relate? I'll talk about all of that. And then I'm going to show off some changes to events and some rewards there. I'm going to show changes to heroic missions, and there's some really cool stuff we've done with that. We're going to talk about level syncing, which is where your character will operate at a level lower than what they are when they're on an older planet. I'll talk about how all of that works. And then I'll talk about some performance improvements, and then I will be done talking. So that's all of the stuff still yet to come. Now let's go find out how this is going to go.
Glorious Majesty, Immortal Master and Protector of Zakul, Emperor Valkorion.
Welcome.
A new name. A new face. These are not enough to hide from us.
Mar?
I would know his presence anywhere. The Sith Emperor. We've been hunting you.
So, before I press this dialogue option, I want to point out to the stream that the things that are about to happen are extra spoilery. So, if you are adverse to spoilers, I highly recommend you stop watching right when I press this dialogue option, and don't come back to the stream for about 5-10 minutes. I just want to warn you, again, if you are adverse to spoilers, now would be the time to stop watching. I also would probably stop reading chat, because I think they're already yelling about it. I think they're probably going to yell, so just a heads up.
Do these people have any idea who you really are? The kinds of things you're capable of?
Do you?
Your constant silence across our history. This was your distraction?
This was my focus. Everything else, a means to an end. You claim to have come all this way to find me. Here I am. What do you want?
To destroy you, once and for all.
You say you know me. If that is true, then you know the depths of my power. Whatever you hoped to achieve here, you know deep inside that you cannot succeed. But you do not have to stand against me. Instead, you can kneel.
I will never again kneel to you.
You would sooner die than acknowledge my superiority.
It is you who fears death, Valkorion. I do not. I will not kneel.
Clear the room! Everyone out!
By the way, chat, I'm very much enjoying all of you right now.
Mar actually gave your people real leadership, more than you ever did for them.
He was narrow-minded, bound by irrelevant ancient dogma. But I think you are different. In all my centuries, you alone have merited my full attention. You leave your mark upon the galaxy wherever you act, just as I do. Look around you. Zakul is poised to become the greatest civilization in the history of the galaxy. I have forged this empire to surmount all of my previous works, to span eternity. The Eternal Throne commands a fleet more vast than any ever built. It has the power to reshape the galaxy into any image that I choose. That we choose. I will share all of this with you, if you will only kneel.
All right. So as all of you know, this is where we're ending the this part of the stream of showing chapter 1. So let me give a little recap. Someone asked a fantastic question, by the way, which is, a month after launch, can we get data and release it on how many people chose which option on whether to kneel or not? And I think that is fantastic. So I literally wrote a note down that I'm going to try to do that, because I think that's great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and escape instead of pressing anything. So that'll put me back outside of this. So just a quick recap of what I went over for those that are just tuning in. So we played through Chapter 1 for Knights of the Fallen Empire. For Star Wars The Old Republic. It's a new expansion that's coming. I saw someone ask, yes, it is completely free to sub, so if you sub on October 27th, you'll get Knights of the Fallen Empire. If you don't have them already, you'll also get Shadow of Revan and Rise of the Hutt Cartel. And I played through starting at level 60, so you can kind of see what it looks like to start from there. Now, let me hit log out and go back a step. And let's show you guys some other things. So I'm going to go to my character select here, and I'm going to hide my face for a minute because I'm blocking the thing that I want to show you. So right here, you guys are going to notice that we're now tracking every one of the class stories and how many of them you've completed. So the reason that we're doing this is if you've completed all 8, you can earn legend status. And when you complete legend status, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a unique in-game portrait frame, which I'm going to show you in a second. So this is something that we're doing, especially as a cool little perk for those people who had, let me get my face back in here. For those people who had played a lot during 12X or the Epic Story XP Boost, you come back in and it allows you to, show off a little bit for it. I'm seeing people laughing, so I want to point out, by the way, the Tiny Man Legacy, which you can see right here. So let me tell you the story of how this happened. We were setting this account up earlier, and I had set the legacy name to Musco because I was going to be the one that was going to be playing it. And so my boss was helping me set it up. Keith, by the way, Keith and I are watching. The stream can thank Keith for this. While I was in the middle of playing, Keith forced my name change to be the Tiny Man Legacy. So you guys can thank my boss for that. So let me show you some Jedi Knight. Let's go through some stuff. Also, I'm going to talk about this amazing armor set in a second too. But let's jump in right to the Republic fleet, and I'll talk some more about some stuff. Apparently the lights turned off. Hang on. There it goes. So in the room that I'm in, it's automated, so that you can see that. So, let me give you guys a second to enjoy this amazing armor set, and this very interesting Act-Dog companion that I have right here as well. I'll let the Act-Dog run around with me for a little bit. Little adorable guy. So what you're looking at with this little Act-Dog right here is a companion, a new type of companion, which is going to be inside of cartel packs. So you'll be able to either get them in packs, or you'll be able to get them, You'll be able to get them in packs, or you'll be able to get them on the GTN if people resell them. These packs, these companions are very specifically focused around combat. They're combat companions, so they don't have their own storylines, or they can't be sent off to get to sell trash or anything like that. But you get a cool. You can have yourself a cool little act dog. So I just wanted to show that real quick. But I'm gonna switch over to my buddy T7 for the rest of this. And let's jump in and talk about some stuff, all right? So I'm going to go right down my list to make sure that I do everything in order and cover all that stuff real quick, all right? So I already talked to you guys about the legendary status that you can get for completing all 8 stories. Let me show you, so people will be able to see this on your nameplate as well. This icon right here. This will be one of the this will be the part that highlights for you. Hey. Omegun, the tiny man, thanks Keith, it's beautiful, is a legend because he has completed a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's what legend status will help you do. So people will be able to realize that in game as well. I do realize I have mail. I don't know how you guys spotted that. Oh, because of that icon right there. I have a whole bunch of unread mail, but that's because I just like all the pre-order items and all that stuff. Was able to pull that down. And I already noticed that you guys have noticed a bunch of things on my bar down here. Don't skip ahead. We'll get to that. We'll get to it. Don't worry. Okay, so let's start with going into some 2 very, very cool things that I'm very excited about, which people have been asking about for a long time. Escape. And inside of the interface editor, you're going to notice this right here. And this is really where the action's at. You can now snap to grid, and as someone who has, for one, was a graphic designer for many years, and 2, has horrendous OCD, being able to snap to grid is fantastic. And you also have the ability, inside of any specific element, you can adjust the grids, the X and Y of the grids as well, if you want to make it more granular, less granular. You guys can do that any way you want. It allows you to move UI elements around and show exactly where they want them to be. I am going to point out, by the way, that while I'm going through this stuff, I'm pretty much going to be talking only about new things for quite a while. So for those of you that have questions, I think chat is just going to be hype spam, and I'm not going to be able to read a lot of questions. So I'll try to grab something if I see it, but save your questions for a little bit later because it's going to be hard for me to grab them. So anyway, snap to grid, which is clearly very amazing, right? That allows you to set up your UI exactly how you want to. That's fine. Yeah, I didn't change anything. Also, you guys may notice at the bottom right here, this button. I didn't set up any presets, but as someone who's an obsessive keybinder as well, right here you can import and export your keybinds. We know this is something players have asked about for a really long time. Just like Snap to Grid, it's something that people have brought up at cantinas. I've seen it on Reddit in the forums. We know that people really want to have, and now you will. In Knights of the Fallen Empire, you will not only have Snap to Grid, but you'll have the ability to import and export your keybinds, shared keybinds, so it can be a lot simpler. So not only can you share your UI, you can share your keybinds. It snaps to grid, so it can actually be a lot cleaner and unified. So it all comes together so that you'll be able to have your UI nice and clean with the key bindings and everything that you want. So that'll all be there. One of the questions that I did see that I want to make sure gets answered, and I'm going to answer it as detailed as I can. I've seen a couple of different questions, completely unrelated to keybinds, about what you need to have completed already to access Knights of the Fallen Empire. So, to be clear, you do not need to have completed things to get to it. There isn't like a prerequisite to access Fallen Empire. However, once you jump into Knights of the Fallen Empire, you are going to lose access to the following things. You will no longer be able to complete your class story. That will have already been that will complete through. You will not be able to complete the main storylines on Ziost, on McKeb from Rise of the Hutt Cartel, or on Rishi and Yavin from Shadow of Revan. You will still be able to do all of the side content there. So like you'll be able to do the dailies and all that stuff. None of those will go away, but the main storylines will all be completed. Because again, you're kind of moving yourself up to the timeline of when you become the Outlander, take a shot, and move forward. So that's what that's going to be. Okay. So, ability. So I'm actually really excited about this change specifically because it's always something that it had so much potential, and I think we've done a cool job with it. So for those that don't know, one of the things we're implementing into Knights of the Fallen Empire, and I don't think we've talked about this, so I don't think people know this, is we're introducing temporary ability bars. So for example, when you're in Hut Ball and you get the ball, you can have a temporary ability bar which will pop up so that throw the Hut Ball doesn't need to take up space on your bar. Again, we'll talk about some of that stuff in the combat blog when that comes out as well. One of the other things that this affects is something that we've had in our game for quite some time, and I don't know how often people use it, but we want to make sure people really use it a lot because it's awesome now. So again, you guys have already seen I've completed all 8 storylines. So when you complete Chapter 3, one of the things you get is you get the heroic ability for completing Chapter 3, specifically for your heroic moment. So as you can see, heroic moment has a 10-minute cooldown. Let me explain how it's going to work. So for starters, you will restore 2% of your health every 3 seconds while it's active for a full minute. So you'll be healing quite a bit back. And watch the screen, because this is awesome. You're going to see a temporary ability bar pop up, and then I'm going to explain how this works. So when you activate Heroic Moment, your temporary ability bar pops up. Now, your temporary ability bar has all of the legacy abilities that you've unlocked from completing Chapter 3 of other classes. The way these work, again, so Heroic Moment, full 10-minute cooldown, is that, I'm going from memory, but this is what I believe I was told. Each one of these abilities you can use twice before they will go away. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out Legacy Orbital Strike, and while that's going off, I'll walk up and just throw out some Flamethrower action. And again, I will be able to use these abilities twice over the course of Heroic Moment before they'll go off cooldown. Also, and I will get corrected if I'm wrong on this, but I believe that some of these abilities have also been rebalanced and changed to make sure that, simply put, that they're awesome. So these are things that you're definitely going to want to have and use as part of your rotation, while you're playing, while you're out with companions doing stuff. You can do it. Also, for those that noticed before, I have my T7 set as a tank, but I can set him up as he can be heals as well, just like I talked about before. Oh, let me show you that. Let me show you his. One of the things to talk about, and I'll show you the difference when I get to Mako a little bit later in the stream, is that you'll notice that he has no other customization. He can still use the customizations that you get throughout the game, so any of the customizations you already have, totally still got them. We're not going to take those away. And he doesn't have a main hand because I took it off. It's a long story. But you can put weapons on them. But that's how droids work. Droids only use the character customizations. They don't use anything else to dictate their appearance. Okay. Next on the list is crafting. I know that there's been a lot of questions about what's changed with crafting, and the answer is a lot. Similar to combat, I can only reiterate that we're going to be releasing a blog. That one will most likely be next week. It's pretty detailed. There's a lot of stuff in it, so we're still working on the specifics for that. But I think it'll be out next week, which is going to go into even more detail than I'm about to talk about now, because I know I'm going to forget stuff. So just being honest, there's a lot. So one thing you're going to notice right out of the gates is that crafting goes up to 500. Cap hasn't changed, still staying exactly as it was before. You'll also notice there are no tiers. I'm fully trained up. There isn't any more of having to train every 75 or 120, whatever it was before. You won't have to train that anymore. You just get it the whole way through. So those are some of the initial changes. Let me go into a crafting and show you. Actually, I did learn patterns. Okay. Okay. So first thing you're going to notice is that all of the armor that I'm crafting here is of it's of blue quality, right? It's not starting at premium. It's not starting at green quality, and that's intentional. We want to make sure that the stuff that you're crafting is absolutely awesome and useful. Oh, let me point this out, because I just saw someone say, Mystic Merc is like, why did you choose these options? I just randomly picked a mission skill, a crafting skill, and a gathering skill. I know those don't go together. I just randomly picked 3. So that's what happened. That's what happened. So you'll only start at blue quality to make sure that the things that you're crafting are absolutely usable for you, and are not just, they're not the things that you'll glance over. We really want you to be able to use crafting as you're leveling up and be able to sell them. And as you can see, they're also adaptive, so if you want the appearances, you can do that as well. You're going to also notice that aside from that, the other thing that you craft is you craft parts, which in this case are the Rubat synth bonded attachments, which are part of crafting those pieces of gear. So that's a big change that's been made, is that part of what you're crafting on the lower end is the materials to help to then go into crafting the items themselves. There's been a whole bunch of changes in regards to who crafts what, but I'll leave that to the blog because I'll get it wrong if I attempt to explain it. The other thing is that all of our items across the entire spectrum that are crafting, this includes materials and crafted items, are across 8 tiers. So think of it like, for those that know what I'm talking about, if you were a crafter, let's say you had Augment Kit MK9, MK10, those don't exist anymore. Those are all scrunched down between Tier 1 and Tier 8. So those would all be like Augment Kit MK8. I'm making that up. I'm not sure that's actually true, but I'm just using that as an example. We'll have a full list in the blog of all of the crafting materials that are being removed from the game. But ultimately our goal was to kind of cut down on some of that bloat from the billions of items that existed that were a part of crafting and kind of simplify that. Also, as part of the new patterns that you're getting, because there's a bunch of them, any of the old items that you have, Tate literally just said it in chat, will be put into an archive section. So I don't have an archive section because this is a brand new character I made today, but all of that would fall into an archive section. Now, all of the items you're going to craft now, in most cases, are better, so you won't actually need to craft them for that reason, but if you wanted to craft those for appearance or anything else, you'll still have them, but they're going to be moved into an archive section. So that'll all be put off into a separate area that you won't have to worry about that much. Okay, that's 1 page of 3, by the way. I finally finished the first page. Okay. Gathering. So this is going to work very, very cool. I'm a fan of how this works. So I am bioanalysis, right? So I can go around onto planets and I can gather the biochemical compounds. You can actually go around and gather them. So the way it used, and you can, by the way, you can see the grades right here. The way it used to work is that you had a minimum skill requirement for being able to gather certain things. So if I have a level 1 skill in bioanalysis, I can't, before, I wasn't able to gather grade 5 bioanalysis materials. Now you can. The way it works is that no matter your skill level, you can gather any other required tier, any other tier of gathering material. The difference being, and this also goes in reverse, so if you're at 500, you can go back and grab, you can grab tier grade 1, grade 2. The way it works is that the relative difference between your skill and the tier will dictate how much you get. So, for example, if I'm 500 bioanalysis and I'm getting grade 1 materials, I'm going to get a whole bunch of them. Or I'll get at least, whatever the maximum for that specific node would be. Flip that around. If I'm a grade 1, so I have level 1 skill, and I'm trying to gather grade 6 materials, I'm not going to get very much. Might even just get 1 or something, because it works in reverse. But ultimately what we want to do is we want to make sure that no matter where you are at any time, you can grab the materials that you need. Alright, so I've talked about the crafting material, or crafting crew skill. I've talked about the gathering crew skills. Let's talk about mission. So you're going to notice that in mission, I'm scrolling a lot. This used to be where there was only, I believe, 4 missions shown at a time. Now it's not. Now all of them per grade are available to you at any time. So you can go into the mission, and whichever ones you wanted, you'll get them without having to worry about making sure that they're in the rotation or they came in as the random selection. They're all there now. So any of them that you want, you can grab. So you guys are all cool with that. Okay, so that's gathering. I have a note to show Group Finder, which I will, but someone remind me in case I forget. Actually, let me make a note. I need to also show it to you when I get into the 60. Okay. Okay, so Group Finder. So this isn't going to look. So we've reworked the interface quite a bit. We've reworked the interface a bit for this. This isn't going to look too different because I'm only level 17, so I don't have a whole ton of options before me. One thing that is worth noting, if you don't recall, I would go back and Tate, my man, or Nick, can you guys link our Flashpoints and Operations Changes blog in chat as well? If you want to catch up on all of the changes that we've made to Flashpoints and Operations, which there's been quite a bit, please go check that out. I'm not going to go into detail on that here. Okay, so just a quick answer for something is, what's going to happen to the stacks of obsolete materials we might have stockpiled? If you have materials which are being removed from the game, they're going to be changed over to relevant crafting materials. I'm 99.9% sure that's true, and I'm positive that someone from the dev team will come running to the door if I'm lying. So any of those materials that you have, even if there's something that's being pulled out, they're going to change into a usable crafting material with 4.0. We're not going to turn them into just like sellable trash or anything, so you'll be okay. So this is the new Group Finder. One of the things you're going to notice is this, which is called Common Data Crystals. Let me switch over and talk about that, and then I'll come back to the Group Finder when I jump onto the level 60, because I think it'll be more interesting to look at then. Okay, so let me jump into my currency tab. So I just want to highlight a couple of different things. Basic, Elite, and Ultimate commendations have changed over to be common, glowing, and radiant data crystals. It's really just it's really just more of a naming thing. Nothing else has changed in regards to that. So I know there was people worried about conversion rates and all that stuff coming into Fallen Empire, you know, if they needed to try to stockpile something for whatever. Whatever you have. So right now, in-game, you have 300 basic commendations. When Fallen Empire launches, you're going to have 300 common data crystals. Nothing has changed there. All of the rest of the commendations have not changed. So that's the reason I brought Warzone up. So Warzone commendations, their name is not changed. No conversion rates. Nothing has changed with any of the other commendations. So all that stuff has remained the same. Now, one thing I do want to point out, there is no longer a weekly commendation limit. It's gone. So you can now, however many commendations you can earn while playing, that's how many commendations we're going to let you get. So the weekly cap is gone. Now you can see, obviously, that there is still an actual cap. So 1,000 common, 500 on glowing, and 500 on radiant. So if you hit that cap, you're capped. But we're not going to cap how many you can earn in a week. Basically, we want to make sure if you want to keep playing more content, keep playing more content. We're not going to stop that. So there's no limit there. All right, so that's the full skinny on that. All right, let's jump into the next thing. So I can't actually show this to you because I didn't think of it. I should have had Tate jump on, and I could have done this. But I know this is something people will be excited about. So because it's something people have asked for a long time. Starting in Knights of the Fallen Empire in 4.0, you can now whisper people from your guild window. We know that that's something that's been requested for a long time because you've been able to do it from other windows. You'll now be able to right-click whisper to people directly from your guild window. So just a nice guild quality of life touch-up for you guys there. Okay, so let's jump into one of the bigger ones here, which is the Tiny Man Legacy. Let's explore the Tiny Man Legacy. Friends, let's do this together. Okay, so a couple of things I want to point out, and then I will actually, show them to you. Okay, so first is, again, in here you can track, by the way, ignore that I didn't complete Chapter 1 and 2. I cheated to beat it, so don't mind those. But I know that all of you right now are looking, and you can see that this right here is here, which says Legacy Datacrons. So let's click the Legacy Datacrons tab, because I feel like that's something that you guys want to see, as it's been asked about for quite a bit. So if you go into the Legacy Datacrons tab, you can see all the Datacrons and what they give you, so they are still listed as, like for example, the Alderaan Presence Datacron, but it will give you Mastery. Those, I believe, it will still give you the proper stats, since all of those have now been turned over to Mastery. And you can track them all right here, so if at any time you need to know, what have I gotten, what have I not gotten, they're all here. Legacy Datacrons. I know we had mentioned before that we hadn't yet been able to confirm that it was going to be there, but I've confirmed it for you. It's going to be there. And I can see yeses in all caps being spammed in chat, so glad that you guys are happy about that. I know I am as well, so I don't have to try to ride a Jawa balloon across Tatooine to try to get them again. So those are there. And again, this is legacy wide, so not account wide, but legacy wide. Okay. Let me find one of the other ones. It's character perk, I believe. So, you may notice our speeder piloting has changed, and you can now get speeder piloting down to level 1. That is a change from where it used to be level 10. So you'll be able to now. Who's giving me credits? So you'll be able to. I'm assuming you guys are seeing that my credit number is going up. I can only assume that Keith is sitting at his desk, continuing to mess with me. That's the beauty of my boss. This is what he does. This is what my day-to-day looks like. Thanks. Okay, thanks, Tate. I assumed it was brought to me by Keith. I'm just going to look throughout things and find random things unlocked and changing. Yeah, so you'll be able to use your mount now at level 1, assuming that you have, and if you look, so you'll be able to get it, with credits or with cartel coins, as it always works with those, and it's dependent on your legacy level as a prerequisite. It is also worth noting, so people don't worry, this isn't my actual play account, so I don't actually have 11 play credits. At least not from Keith giving them to me. Okay. So let me show you the last thing that's part of Legacy, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This is potentially the thing that I was most excited about, which sounds kind of silly. That's a part of Legacy. And it is... Let me find it. Whoops. Okay, so we are now introducing 2 abilities. These are completely free. They cost you nothing. They do not cost credits. They do not cost cartel coins. When you log in on day 1 of Fallen Empire, Legacy level 1, you will have both of these. And that is to summon random mount and summon random pet. So for anyone who knows anything about me, I am an avid mount collector. And I'll show you the second feature that I'm very excited about, which is collections. And so me not having to worry about having them on my bar and being able to just spam that button and just pop up whatever I want is fantastic. So I'm going to highlight something else as a part of this. Actually, let me do this. Let me show you this in action, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some other stuff as I get into collections. Okay, so let's click some random pets. So I only have like 4 pets, I think, on here. So did it summon a pet? Summon a pet. Did it break since the last time I used it? Maybe I broke it. Oh, I don't have pets on this guy. That's right. Remind me to use it on my level 60, and I'll show you. I forgot I put them on that guy. Those guys don't have pets. But I know I have more than one vehicle, and I will verify it for you. So I have multiple vehicles. So let's show you. So random vehicle. Boop. I'm going to come back to this mount in a second because there's something I want to point out. But you can see I use it again. Summon the same one. Use it again. Let's see. It's 1 in 3 chance. Let's see what it is. It really likes that guy. Come on. Give me another one. Give it to me. RNG is killing me right now. It is killing me. killing me, RNG. You're killing me. I'm gonna switch it manually, and then I'm gonna do it. Let's see. Let's see. Alright. Get him off. Whoops. I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button! Alright, so first off, you should look at this guy, because he's adorable. Look at him. Look at him. Alright. Was I not hitting the random button? Oh, man. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. Okay. I'm actually clicking the random button this time. Don't worry about it. I was clicking the mouse button? Thanks, yeah. I know people coming to tell me that I'm clicking the wrong button. So let's click this again. Look, it's random! Oh, man. If you press the random button, it's actually random. Alright, so I'm going to keep doing it so I can show you the amazing of random. Oh, see, this time it gave me the same one. Oh, 3 times. There you go. Random mount button. Perfect. I have to drink twice. Don't drink twice for that. I'm drinking water, but... How many people are watching the stream right now? Because that's how many people it takes me to press the right button. That's what we've learned today. Alright, so let me highlight something else that I think people who are avid about how their armor looks will be very excited about. It's the reason that I put this on the on my bar. So let me talk about, first off, this amazing armor set. So this armor set and the mount that I'm about to use, both of them are coming out in the new Cartel pack that's coming out on October 20th with Fallen Empire, or 27th. I'm not sure which one of those days it hits, but the new pack that's coming out with Fallen Empire will have both of these in it. So if you're looking for these, that's where they'll be. Let me show you. I just saw someone say the correct thing, which was cape clip hype. So let me show you. What we have fixed is you're going to notice that I'm wearing there's a nice cape coming back off the bottom, and I'm going to use this mount. When you go underneath it, there's no cape clip. There's none. It's not clipping through at all. So I'm not going to say it's fixed on everything, but they've made a pass, and it is fixed on most. It's fixed on most mounts throughout the game have been fixed, so you no longer have to worry about some cape clippage. And as an avid mount guy, I'm very excited about that myself. Lots of exclamation points in chat right now, so I'm going to say that everyone's excited. And I'm going to show you the last thing that I'm very excited about with this mount. So one of the things that they've been doing lately with vehicles is they've been doing Mount Flourish, which is Control-Z by default for those that don't know. So let me show you what this thing Mount Flourishes to, because I think it is really, really cool. So you can just flourish, and it will do this, and we'll do this back and forth between the two of them, right? And that's, it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome mount. So if you guys want this, again, this will be coming out in the pack that's coming out with Fallen Empire. All right. So, next thing to go over, I'm going to press the right button this time and get all the mounts, is collections. There's a lot of things that people have been asking for in collections, and I think that you guys will be excited about what we're doing with it. So, let me jump into collections, and you're going to notice something right out of the gates. Everything's collapsed. So you can now get into any of these things at a glance, wherever you want to go. You can go into any one of these without having to collapse them all down ahead of time and show that stuff. So let me dig a little bit deeper into this. So I know I have some vehicles, right? So let's dig into vehicles. Still looks the same as the collections you know and love. Well, I know I have 2% of the vehicles in the game, so let's click that. And you notice a bunch of things. So for one, it's going to track how many there are across the board. 2, you can search for it. So this is called the Minas something. Minas, so I'll type M-I-N. Boom! Right there it is. And you can see it without having to go any deeper. And you have filter options. You can either sort by the ones that you have already, the ones that you don't. You can find them all right there. So for example, I know that, I want to collect all the Aerotex. This is actually how I end up searching when I'm trying to do it. So I will look for the Aerotex, and now I know all of the Aerotex that are in collections, and I can see which ones I own and which ones I don't own at a glance. And one of the coolest things about it that we've changed as well is that from this itself. So for those that don't know how collections works, let's say I had unlocked the Meanest Hornet on my Jedi Knight. In order for me to unlock it as a collection unlock, I actually need to go to a different character. So I would need to go to my Bounty Hunter and unlock it from there. So I can't pull it down because I already have it, but now I can, I don't have any cartel points, but now I can unlock it right from here. So you don't have to switch characters to unlock things anymore. That's also been changed as well. So that will allow you to go through that pretty quickly. All right, let me show you the next thing. So let's hit that random mount button and go, and let me show you something else. This is something that, as a community manager, this is something that I have heard people ask for a lot, and so I'm very excited to tell you that it's there. So let me go down to it. And so it's going to be talking a little bit about events. So the next thing I'm going to show you revolves entirely around the events and our event rewards. I'm going to be doing a forum post probably explaining a little bit more about that, talking about what our schedule is going to be like after Fallen Empire, how rewards are going to work. But let me show you something first. So if you're here, each one of these vendors, you're going to notice here are the Rakul vendors, here are the Gree vendors, and here is Bounty Contract Week. This is also some, I believe that Geovic is also some of the Rakul Plague rewards as well. We introduced this new vendor, Ambassador Kylie. And what Kylie has on them is a whole bunch of stuff. So before I right-click, let me tell you what's going to be on this, and then I'll show you, because it's cool. So one of the things we wanted to do is we know that people have been doing some of these events for some time, and they may have some, some of the currency from all of the events. So you might have some completed bounty contracts. You might have some Rakul DNA canisters. You might have a bunch of different currency. So we wanted to introduce something else for you to strive for and to introduce some new rewards. So this vendor, you're going to find two things. You're going to find some new stuff that you can only get here with this different currency, and you're also going to get some stuff that we've brought back. And there's two things I'm very excited to show you that we've brought back. So let me move this over so you can see it. First off, we've brought back some of the Chevin rewards, which currently Chevin event's not in our game, so there's no way to get it. And I am extremely excited about the Hirati Scraper, which if you've never seen it, I like to affectionately call it the broken down speeder, because it's tilted and there's like smoke coming out of the engine, and it's scraping as it goes across the ground and things, so you can get that. And there's people who've been trying to get, I believe it's the Fine Dresser achievement, so I'm going to scroll down and show you. The original Containment Officer gear is back in the game as well. So if you weren't able to get this because we haven't brought back the original Rakul event and you are still trying to get those, I'm happy to say we finally brought those back. So kudos to the events team. I was poking them quite a bit about trying to get this in. It's something that we heard a lot at Cantinas. And so you can now get the Containment Officer gear, and you'll be able to get the achievements that you were looking for from before. And so you can see, if I highlight over it, like for example the Hirati Scraper, it costs DNA canisters, gray helixes, and completed bounty contracts. So it requires all of them to try to get in. Again, these, in some cases, and I'm not saying that these prices will change, but one thing I do want to point out is that I am on a test server. So anything that you've seen with prices and that type of stuff, none of that is necessarily final. All of it is potentially subject to change. And yes, we also did bring back red sparkle powder. So that's there as well, in case you want that back.
Feel free to browse.
Okay. Last thing I'm going to show you. So I need to board a shuttle to Coruscant, and I can. What I'm going to do is one of the questions that we've gotten a lot of. One of the things we've gotten a lot of questions about is what changes are going to be made to the core world experience. So when you're going through 1 to 50, what's that like? Especially when you compare it to something like 12X and the like. Let me take some water so I stop coughing. So, you'll notice that currently board the shuttle to Coruscant is in purple, and that it's highlighted in purple on my screen. You're going to also notice this icon right here, which looks quite a bit different. These are heroics. I'm going to show you those on the Jedi Knight that I jump on, or the Bounty Hunter that I jump on in a second. And you can see, I'll actually point out just this right here, which is the new key to show you what our new missions look like. This way we've differentiated the icons so you'll be able to find them quite a bit easier. So this is what all the missions look like. And as part of it, right now, exploration missions are hidden. So right now I can't see them at all, but I can turn them on and they'll pop up. And I'll show you what that looks like when I get down to the planet. So for people who've asked the question specifically around experience and how that's going to work, especially when you compare it to, example, the Epic Story XP Boost. So with the Epic Story XP Boost, what you're leveling by is just your class story, nothing else. You don't have to touch any other content in any way, and you can get from 1 to 50. So the way it's going to work in Fallen Empire is only slightly different than that. What we're going to have what you can do is, in order to level from 1 to 50, you'll be playing through the class stories and the primary missions that are on the planets. So the main planetary mission arcs, you'll be playing through those as well. So those two things is what you do, and you can level up through just playing those. And those are the two types of missions that you will see that are highlighted in purple. So those are the ones that we're classifying as that. Heroics have been changed a bit. Again, I'll talk about that in a second. All the other missions that existed from before, that I know people have been concerned about what's going to happen with those, they're all still there. Those are the missions that are flagged as exploration missions. So anything that doesn't qualify under the two categories I already just said, you'll find under the bucket, which is exploration. So let me go ahead and use the terminal here. And just because I want to get to it, I'm going to spacebar through these just so I can show you the stuff on the actual planet. Okay, so you can see right here, in fact, again, going based on the grid, that's a mission. Exploration missions look like this. The missions highlighted in purple for those, and heroics are highlighted here. So I'm going to show you the terminal, but I'll come back and talk about it when I get to... so these are all of the weekly heroics which are on Coruscant, but I'll be coming back to that in a second. So if I progress forward, and you can see, and I'm going to turn on exploration missions. You can see. Let's see if there's any back here, just in case I passed any. So you can see that they trigger on. So there aren't any back there. Let's carry forward for a moment. And again, don't forget about all the travel improvements that we made previously, which is that things like your quick travel points and your flight points all automatically reveal. Okay, again, so as you can see, as I'm populating up, you can see missions starting to pop in as we go through. So you'll see this mission, if I pick it up, and I will pick it up I'll pick it up just to show you, and then I'll move on, just because we only have 30 minutes left-ish, so I want to make sure I get through stuff. Again, gonna space bar like a crazy man to get through it. Okay, so you'll notice with two missions highlighted in purple, right? And again, that's just because it will either be your class mission or the primary planetary arc, which will be there. And again, we'll be talking, you're going to hear me say this again, this will be another shot for you, but there will be blogs talking in more detail about all of that, but those are basically the general things on how the core world changes look. So to wrap that up to be as simple as possible, what you will need to play to get from level 1 to 50 is your class missions and the planetary mission arcs, the main missions that are on the planets. Everything else is either heroics, which are changing, which I'll talk about in a minute, or exploration missions, which are the other stuff that's kind of left. So that is that. Okay. So the last things that I'm going to show you are on a higher level character. To walk through some of that. Okay. So let me pull up. It's this one. And this one's on the fleet. And this way I can show you getting in and out of a little bit of that stuff and everything. While this is loading up, I'm going to go refill my water real quick, so I'll be back in 3 minutes. Okay. Water refilled. Oh, it's already loaded in. Very nice. Okay. So let me show you, before I forget, because I said it was the first thing I was going to show, is Group Finder. Because Group Finder will look a lot different now that I'm on a high-level character. So again, you're going to see that the crystals have changed, right? So now you're getting common instead of basic, etc., etc. So those names are a bit different. And the way all of this works is also a bit different. So here you see that right now, story mode ops are the Ravagers. I could click it and queue up for it. And by doing so, I will win the daily reward of 16 Radiant Crystals. That resets every day, and you can see right here, it'll even tell you what the next, what the next operation is going to be. So you can always come into the Group Finder and see if you only really kind of want to play specific operations. And the idea here is that us incentivizing people to come back each day and play the operations with story mode, with the changes of them being, and again, the range is 50 to 65. So anyone in that whole level range can jump in and play it. And again, you can view the blog that we had talked about earlier for the Ops and Flashpoint changes that you can see what all those changes are. But again, so that's the changes that are here. Tacticals and hards, you can queue up for them appropriately and get daily rewards as well. Tacticals are 10 to 65, and hard mode flashpoints are also 50 to 65. So we're putting much bigger buckets of players together, so it should be a lot easier to be able to get that. Capalicious, Musco, is the legendary status awarded for completing chapters 1 to 3, or is it from reaching 60? It is only from completing the class story. So you must, the level doesn't matter. You just had to have beaten all 3 chapters of a class's story. And I do want to point out that if for some reason you hit play on Fallen Empire and jump into the chapters, it will clear out your progress on those, and it will not count as a completion. So you need to actually finish them. Okay, so that is the changes to Group Finder. Hopefully that makes sense. The other thing is I've seen some people ask about getting in and out of chapters. So it's going to be pretty self-explanatory because you can see it on the screen. Quite literally, if I click play right now, it's going to pop up with this, which is Knights of the Fallen Empire. Will give you a description of the chapter, and you can just launch right into it. So that's how easy it is to get into a chapter, is you just hit play and you start the chapter. And this will always update to whatever the most recent chapter is that you have going on at the time. Oh, yeah, people saying to press the random pet button. So I have pets on this character. Oops, so I'm going to hit my random pet. So I'll put my random... Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Legacy, random pet. Boop. There you go. So it summoned a little Tauntaun fawn. Hit him again. Unsummons. I'll summon the same one. Wait, maybe that might have been different. I have 2 Taunt fawns, I think. There you go. So random, clearly random when I press the right button. So that's the that's that. Is the legendary profile portrait the bar icon? Okay. So that is that. You can see I pulled all my mail out here. That's why that's all a bit crazy. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you guys was Mako, because she's different than the other companions. So you'll notice that for Mako, unlike the droid, which is a droid, and Mar, which was specifically a part of the chapter experience, you can adjust how Mako looks. So she has full custom. Do I have one of the pilot suits? Let me get done with pilot suit in here. All right. So I can just grab this, and if you start putting this on Mako, then suddenly she'll, I could be like, oh, you're a pilot now, Mako, and she'll maintain that. So Mako will look however you want her to. And the same thing is true for when you are on Mako, that she also has the customization option. So if you had chosen one of the Mako customizations, you could also have put that on there as well. So that's how that works. If anyone's wondering what my gear is on my character that looks weird, it's because I have the chest piece from that new armor set, but nothing else. So that's why I look weird. It's because I was messing with stuff on the character. So I look like a weird hodgepodge of stuff put together. That's why that is like that. Okay, so the last 2 things to show all of you. Let me grab my vehicle. Okay. I'm going to show you guys the heroic missions and the changes to those, and then I'm going to talk about level syncing and what that does to affect your character. And then if I have time, I will take and then I got to talk about performance. And then if I have time, I'll take questions and the like. Okay, so there are these weekly heroic mission terminals. Now, my character is level 60, so you're going to see a lot of them. So if you go here, you can see all of the heroics that you have that you can do in a week. And there's a lot of them. It is worth noting that on each one of them, it will give you credits, it will give you experience points, and it will also give you data crystals, so in this case, common data crystals, and lock boxes. So let me explain this quickly before I just move. So I'm going to go, let's see, I'm Imp, right? So I'll do it on Jerome and Koss. And I will show you this. So I'm going to accept Friends of Old for Jerome and Koss, right? And now, so the reward that I'm going to get that you'll see is I will get the common data crystals, and I'll get, when it's completed, I will get either one of the lockboxes. Now it is worth noting that these lockboxes, they will give you rewards based on your level. So they are always useful for you to do because they will be giving you gear, okay? Now, let's go there. And I will show. Also, for every one of the heroics that you get, it comes with a transport, and that allows you to just go whoop and just go right to the mission. So I'm going to Dro. I'm at level 60, so obviously Jerome and Koss is far below a level 60. So you will now see. You'll now see what level syncing will do, and I will show you a little bit about that when we get there. Boop? Did I make the boop noise, or are people just making a boop noise? Is the real question. Okay. So, here I am as level 60. As you can see right here, our level's been shifted down to level 18. So what that means is if you look at your stats, these are going to be reflective of a level 18 character. Now, that being said, I do want to point out, because I don't want people to be alarmed by the fact that you're being shifted down. So if you go into your disciplines, you'll notice I still have all of this. I have not lost any of my passives, any of the bonus damage that you're getting, any of the abilities that you've gotten, any of your utilities that you've gotten. None of it is going away. All of that is still going to be there. So right now, I did not spend any of them, but that's okay. So as I go over here, I will show you. Basically, the idea is that we're taking you down so that you are the highest level possible to still do that content. Plus all of the bonuses of your character on top of it. So quite literally, I am very strong for someone that's at this level. Let's see if I probably can't, but let's see if wait, I don't have actual armor on. Let me put my actual armor on, and let's see if I can do this without any of my keybinds or anything. Let's see if I can kill this guy with Mako being here. So there you guys can see I'm in a heroic area and was able to take that out with relatively little problem. So I understand there are people concerned that you're going to go down to a lower level and be weak, but as you can see, because of the fact that I'm at the highest level possible and have my own power on top of it, you're actually quite strong. And so if you're a capable player, in many of these cases you'll be able to solo them, and it won't really be a problem. I've seen some people asking if it is optional. You cannot toggle level sync. When you come down here, it is going to scale you down. Now again, the only thing that's going to change is your stats. Everything else that you have is going to remain the same. So we're not going to take any of your abilities, any of your passes, or anything away from you. You're just going to play at the appropriate level for that planet. What this allows us to do, that's going to change, is that when you're down at level, so right now I'm on Jerome and Koss. Even though I'm playing as a level 18, I'm actually getting experience as if I was a level 60. So I'm still getting valuable experience from from any heroics that I do, any enemies that I kill. The gear that's going to drop is not going to be. That is only from the actual reward itself. But what this also allows you to do is you can play with your friends. So if you have friends who are working on leveling, you can come down to the planet and you can play with them. You'll be playing at their level, so you're not ruining their experience. They're not ruining yours. It's actually useful for you to do it because you can still get experience and all that stuff out of it. So that's how level sync is going to work. All right, so that's all of the stuff on level sync itself. And all right, so let me run through some of the. Let me dance for you guys. I don't have that in the background while I'm doing this until enemies appear behind me. Okay, so to wrap up a couple things because we have about 10 minutes. Let me go through this real quick, and then I can maybe take some questions from chat. So in 3.2.2. We made a whole bunch of performance improvements. The ones that I want to highlight is levels in general should load faster. We also improved frame rate, the rendering on shadows and grass, and one of the really big things that we did was a change to anti-aliasing. So I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to show you the effect, but I will show you what it is. So anti-aliasing has 4 options. Off, which will turn off anti-aliasing completely. If you don't know what anti-aliasing is that it's like the jagged lines that are on the edges of people and things. So if it's off, it's completely off. It'll be completely jaggy. What's new is medium. So medium will basically give you the same performance you would have as if you were off, very close to it, but now you actually have some level of anti-aliasing, which will make the game look a lot cleaner for you. High High anti-aliasing is the exact same thing it was before. Nothing's changed. Very high is for those people who have the awesome, crazy machines, and they want to throw on very high anti-aliasing, so the game will look extra beautiful for you. So that's the performance stuff that's there. So the last things for me to run through, and then I will start grabbing some questions from chat, is the thing I haven't talked about, I've seen some people ask, is this, which is the companions in contacts window. It's intentional that we didn't go up there. This ties into your character's alliance. We're going to be talking about our character's alliance closer to launch. So in the next few weeks, we'll be talking a little bit more detail about that. That'll come out very close to around the time early access starts, is when we'll start revealing a lot more details about alliance and what it is and that type of thing. For those that don't know, we will be a week and a day from today, so 8 days from today, we will be in New York for New York Comic-Con. We'll be doing a cantina there. It'll be a 4-hour cantina, because aside from doing just the usual cantina fare, we're also going to be doing a cosplay contest, and we'll be live streaming that cosplay contest as well online, so you'll be able to tune into that if you want. I guess that's it. That's the end of my list of things for you guys. We got a couple minutes. Let me see if I can't grab some things from chat. Why can't your own machine used for the streams play the game on high quality? So it can. I'm pretty positive that the oops, I just aggravated some stuff. I'm pretty positive this PC can actually play the game on very high settings, but because of the tech issues we've had in the past, I want to make sure that we didn't have any of those problems. So let me see. And you guys are typing crazy pants in chat. Let me see if I can grab some questions. So for those asking questions about PvP, the main thing, we've said this with previous expansions, is that obviously everyone's getting new abilities. There's balance changes that are going to happen. There'll be new utilities that will very much shake up the meta. I realize it's not new content. I can give you the best answer I can give you is a similar answer we've given before, which is where, yes, there is not a war zone coming out in Knights of the Fallen Empire. That in no way means we won't do another one. We're constantly doing things like prototyping expansions and exploring new options. So you will see more PvP content in the future, just nothing with Fallen Empire. Is 12x going away? Yes. The Epic Story XP boost will go away when Fallen Empire launches, and instead it will be replaced with what I talked about today, which basically is very, very similar to the experience you have with the Epic Story XP boost. So that's that. So is level sync only for heroics, or is it for everything? So I'm going to get outside of this heroic area, or I'm going to aggro that back. But I am 99% sure that level sync is everywhere, not just in heroic areas. So if you are on a lower level planet, you will be on that planet as a lower level character. But I will verify that by leaving this area. Will you get XP from exploration missions? Absolutely. Exploration missions are very much as if you had just played that type of mission previously without any of the changes. All it did is that since it's not a required part of the primary storyline that you're going along, we just didn't want you... If you want to play them, you can, but you don't have to. Let's see. So I saw people ask about, I saw a lot of questions about legacy wallets and legacy money and that type of thing. Right now there is no legacy, like stored currency for across your entire legacy. You can of course still move it across, via mail and the like. But so people ask about presents. Will presents still work as intended? Presents. It is also worth noting, I saw a couple questions about influence. So basically draw an equal sign sort of between influence and affection. what affection was before is what influence is now. It's just renamed and functions slightly differently. You will be able to, your character's combat effectiveness goes up, your companion's combat effectiveness goes up the higher your influence is with them, on top of the other things that it was before, such as minimum influence for certain companion missions and the like. We'll talk more about how influence affects alliance when we start talking about alliance, but basically alliance, influence and affection are very much the same thing. I'm seeing a couple questions about open world PvP. Open world PvP remains the same as it is now. It's tied into things like the Gree event and the like. So, but outside of that, there isn't any new open world PvP that's a part of the expansion. Will old planets work before and after Fallen Empire? Yes, they will. So, for example, I'm in Chapter 1 right now on this, and actually I had started Chapter 1 on this mercenary, and I'm here on Droman Koss doing a heroic. So, all of that stuff will remain the same. So. Oh, that's a very good question. Avrenis asks, are legacy datacrons retroactive, or do I need to get them again? I am 99% sure they are retroactive. That all of them should be, but I will verify that fact just in case I'm wrong. We saw this question a lot in the beginning about the Fexen armor. The Fexen armor will come out before Fallen Empire launches. I don't have an exact date, but I can tell you it will be before Fallen Empire launches. All right, I'll do one more question. I'm trying to grab questions out of the rapidly scrolling chat. Is the new story solo mode, or can you group for it? So, it's very similar to how your class missions work is how Fallen Empire story works. So you can, so you'll be playing through it, like you'll be the one driving it, making the decisions, but a friend can be there. All right, so I'm going to start closing things out because we only got about 2 minutes. I want to thank all of you for coming and joining us on the stream. Hopefully, we've given you a nice bucket of information today. I know that people have been looking for a lot more gameplay information to come out, so that's really what today's stream was a focus on, was getting just a lot of game and play information out to you and showing you things you hadn't seen before. Like I said, over the next few weeks, there will still be blogs coming out. In a lot of ways, they will be reiterating a lot of the things that I've talked about today. They'll be about crafting, about the combat changes. The ones that we still have not talked about yet, which will be coming out soon at all, is there are a lot of changes coming to the cartel market and how that's going to work. It is going to organize it in a way that I think a lot of people will like. It'll allow you to get what you want a bit better and easier. So there's going to be some changes coming to that. That'll be covered in a blog. Combat changes, crafting. I'm trying to think of the blogs that I've written or worked on. Anyway, there'll be a couple blogs coming out over the next few weeks talking about more detail about the things we talked about today. And then again, the last thing that still remains, especially for you guys to hear about, is your character's alliance. Again, that'll be coming out much closer to launch. Very close to around the time of early access is when we'll be talking details on those. So stay tuned for that. I'll be working on getting highlights set up for the different sections of the stream so that if people want to learn about a specific thing, crafting or start at 60, they'll be able to jump right into that. I guess that's it for me for today. I'm going to jump to the scrolling gift slate for 5 or 10 minutes just to make sure that the stream wraps itself up. And I'll see you guys in the forums. Let me know of any follow-up questions or anything that you guys have. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Have